Before the world knew sin, there were two women. The garden stands in the beginning of all things, Eden, a place where rivers meet and trees grow thick with fruit. The air smells of flowers that have no names yet. Everything is new. Everything waits. Time moves differently here. Days blend into nights without fear, without shame. The first light touches leaves that sparkle with morning dew. This is where it begins. This is where the story splits into two paths that will never meet again. God walks in this garden. His footsteps shake the ground softly. He speaks and animals come. He breathes and plants grow. He is making something, someone, the first human, Adam, made from dust and divine breath. Adam opens his eyes to paradise, but paradise feels empty. Adam names the animals. He watches them move in pairs, male and female. But Adam is alone. God sees this loneliness. He decides to fix it. He reaches into the same earth that made Adam, the same dust, the same clay. He forms another human. This one is different. This one is Lilith. She rises from the ground just as Adam did. She stands on her own feet. She breathes the same air. She looks at Adam as an equal. She was made the same way, from the same source. She does not come from Adam. She comes from the earth itself. Lilith walks through Eden with her head high. She picks fruit without asking. She names animals that Adam missed. She speaks her mind to God himself. She does not bow. She does not follow. When Adam tells her to do something, she asks why. When Adam expects her to lie beneath him, she refuses. She says they are equal, made the same way, from the same dust. Why should she be below him? Why should she obey? Adam does not understand, is confused. He is angry. He goes to God with his complaint. Lilith will not submit. Lilith will not listen. Lilith thinks she is his equal. God calls Lilith to him. He explains the order of things. He tells her about hierarchy, about roles, about how things must be. Lilith listens. Then she speaks. She says no. One word that changes everything. No. The angels gasp. The animals grow quiet. The wind itself seems to stop. No one has said no to God before. No one has refused. Lilith stands firm. She will not be beneath Adam. She will not pretend to be less than what she is. If this is what God wants, then she does not want this garden. She does not want this paradise. She chooses herself over Eden. Lilith speaks the secret name of God, the name that holds power, the name that should not be spoken. With this name on her lips, she rises into the air. Her feet leave the ground. She flies up and away from the garden, away from Adam, away from the rules that would make her small. She flies toward the horizon where the garden ends and the wilderness begins. God sends 3 angels after her, Sinmui, Sansanui, Simangalof. They have wings like storms. They move fast as lightning. The angels find Lilith by the Red Sea, place of salt and wind, a place where demons walk, a place outside of God's perfect order. They tell her to come back. They promise punishment if she refuses. They tell her that her children will die, 100 every day, every single day, forever. Lilith looks at them without fear. She tells them she would rather have that curse than return to submission. She chooses freedom with pain over comfort with chains. Lilith stays by the Red Sea. She becomes something else, something wild. The stories say she mates with demons. She gives birth to hundreds of children every day, dark children, strange children, children who live in shadows. And every day, 100 of them die, just as the angels promised. This is her punishment. This is her price. But she does not return. She does not bow. She becomes the night demon, the child stealer, the one who whispers rebellion into the ears of women, the one who refuses to be forgotten. Back in Eden, Adam is alone again. The garden feels more empty than before. God sees this. He decides to try again. But this time, he will do it differently. This time, the woman will not come from the earth. She will come from Adam himself. God puts Adam into a deep sleep, deeper than any sleep before or since. While Adam sleeps, God opens his side. He reaches in and pulls out a rib, one bone from many, one piece of the whole. From this bone, he creates the second woman, Eve. Eve opens her eyes inside the garden. She does not wake up on the ground. She wakes up next to Adam. She is made from him, part of him, born from his body. She is human, but she is also his. God presents her to Adam. Adam is happy now. He calls her woman. He calls her bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh. She came from him. She belongs with him. Eve smiles. She does not know about Lilith. She does not know she is the second attempt. She only knows the garden, only knows Adam, only knows this moment. Eve walks through Eden in wonder. Everything amazes her. The colors of flowers, the taste of fruit, the feel of grass under her feet. She discovers the world like a child. Adam shows her things. He teaches her names. He tells her the rules. There is one tree they cannot touch, one tree in the center of the garden, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. God has forbidden it. They can eat from every other tree. thousands of trees, but not this one. Eve agrees. She does not question. She does not ask why. She accepts. Days pass like dreams. Eve and Adam live in harmony. They walk together. They eat together. They sleep under stars that shine just for them. Eve does not argue. She does not refuse. She follows where Adam leads. She listens when he speaks. The garden approves of her. God approves of her. Everything is peaceful. Everything is perfect. But perfection never lasts. The serpent comes, old and wise and full of questions. It finds Eve alone near the forbidden tree. The tree stands tall and beautiful. Its fruit glows in the sunlight. The serpent speaks. It asks if God really said they could not eat from any tree. Eve corrects it. They can eat from any tree except this one. This tree means death. The serpent laughs. A sound like wind through dead leaves. It tells her she will not die. It tells her God knows something. God knows that eating this fruit will make them like him, knowing good and evil, knowing everything. Eve looks at the fruit. She has looked at it before, but now she sees it differently. It looks good. It looks delicious. It looks like wisdom hanging on a branch. She reaches out. Her hand shakes. She touches the fruit. It feels warm, alive. She picks it. She brings it to her mouth. She bites. The taste fills her mouth like honey and fire. Everything changes. She sees differently now. She knows things she did not know before. She feels shame for the first time. She feels fear. She looks for Adam. She finds him. She offers him the fruit. He takes it. He eats. Now they both know. They hear God walking in the garden. His footsteps that used to bring joy now bring terror. They hide. They cover themselves with leaves. They feel naked for the first time. God calls for them. They come out slowly. God asks what they have done. Adam blames Eve. Eve blames the serpent. No one takes responsibility. God is disappointed. He is angry. He is sad. He must punish them. God speaks to the serpent first. Will crawl on its belly forever. It will eat dust. Women will hate it. It will hate them. There will be war between them for all time. Then God turns to Eve. Her punishment is different. She will have pain in childbirth. Great pain. She will desire her husband, but he will rule over her. She will be under him, subject to him. The equality she might have had is gone. Then God speaks to Adam. The ground is cursed because of him. He will work hard for food. He will sweat and struggle. Thorns will grow. Life will be difficult. And one day he will return to the dust he came from. Death enters the world. God makes clothes for them from animal skins. The first death of an innocent creature. He dresses them. Then he sends them out of the garden, out of paradise, into the world beyond. Angels with flaming swords guard the entrance. They can never return. Eden is lost forever. Eve walks into the wilderness with Adam. She carries their punishment. She carries their shame. She will give birth to sons, Cain and Abel. She will know the pain God promised. She will watch her sons destroy each other. She will feel the weight of the fall. Everything that comes after traces back to her choice, her bite, her curiosity. History will remember her as the reason for human suffering, the mother of all living, the mother of all dying. But somewhere in the stories there are whispers that Lilith watches from the shadows, that she sees Eve's punishment, that she feels something, maybe satisfaction, maybe pity, maybe both. Lilith was right to leave. She saw what was coming. She saw that being Adam's companion meant being Adam's possession. She chose the wilderness first. She chose freedom before Eve knew what freedom was. The two women never meet. They exist in different worlds now, different stories, but they are forever connected, forever compared, forever placed against each other. Eve the obedient, Lilith the rebel, Eve the mother, Lilith the demon, Eve the blessed, Lilith the cursed. Two sides of the same question. What does it mean to be a woman in a world made by men and gods? Eve becomes the model, the example. This is how women should be: quiet, helpful, sorry for their mistakes, willing to accept punishment, willing to suffer, made from man, made for man. The church loves Eve. They tell her story again and again. They use it to explain why women must obey, why women must hurt in childbirth, why women must be ruled by their husbands. It is God's will. It is Eve's fault. This is how it must be. Lilith becomes the warning, the example of what not to be: loud, independent, unrepentant, refusing to submit. This is what happens when women think they are equal, when they say no, when they choose themselves. Lilith becomes a demon in the stories, a monster who kills babies, a creature of the night who seduces men in their sleep. She becomes everything dangerous about female power, everything that must be controlled, everything that must be feared. But the stories cannot erase what happened. It cannot change the fact that Lilith existed first, that she was made equal, that she said no and survived. They cannot hide that Eve was made from Adam because Lilith refused to be beneath him. Eve is the compromise, the second attempt, the one designed to avoid Lilith's mistakes, designed to accept her place, designed to obey. Centuries pass, millennia. The story stories spread across the world. Different cultures tell them in different ways. Some barely mention Lilith. Some erase her completely. They want to forget that there was a first woman who refused. They want to pretend Eve was always the only one, that her obedience was natural, that her submission was choice. But Lilith remains, in whispers, in shadows, in the questions women ask when they are alone. Why must it be this way? Why must women bow? Why must they hurt? Why must they obey? These questions have the taste of forbidden fruit. They have the sound of wings rising into the air. They have the spirit of the first woman who said no. Lilith haunts the story of Eve. She is the ghost at the wedding, the shadow over the birth, the doubt that creeps in when women are told to submit. Some women pray to Eve. They ask her for help with children, with pain, with the burden of being human. They see themselves in her, the mistakes, the consequences, the trying to make things right. Eve understands regret. She understands the weight of choices. She understands living with punishment. She is approachable, safe, familiar, the mother they know. Other women whisper to Lilith, ask her for strength, for courage, for the power to say no. They see themselves in her too. The anger, the refusal, the willingness to pay any price for freedom. Lilith understands rebellion. She understands the cost of independence. She understands living outside the garden. She is dangerous, powerful, free, the mother they want to be. The conflict between them is not really between them. They never fought. They never met. The conflict is about what women are supposed to be, who they are allowed to become. The story of Eve versus Lilith is really a story about control, about who decides what women are worth, about whether obedience is virtue or prison, about whether rebellion is sin or strength. Eve had no choice in her creation. She woke up already belonging to someone, already made from someone, already defined by someone else. She did the best she could with what she was given. She made one choice, one mistake, and history has punished her forever. Every woman who bleeds, every woman who screams in labor, every woman who bows to a man, they are told this is Eve's fault, Eve's legacy. But Eve was also curious, also brave, also human. She wanted knowledge. She wanted to know what God knew. That is not weak. That is not simple. That is the desire that makes us human. Lilith had choice and used it. She saw the cage before the door closed. She flew before the wings were clipped. She paid a terrible price. Her children dying every day. Her name becoming a curse. Her story twisted into nightmare. But she kept herself. She kept her freedom. She never bowed. Every woman who refuses, every woman who leaves, every woman who chooses pain over submission, they carry Lilith's spirit. They pay Lilith's price. They fly on Lilith's wings. The garden is gone now, lost in time and legend. No one can find it. No one can return. But its lesson remains. Its story echoes. Be like Eve and suffer for one mistake. Be like Lilith and suffer for one choice. Either way, women suffer. That is the truth buried in both stories. The garden was never paradise for women. It was a test they were designed to fail. A trap dressed up as blessing. Eve failed by disobeying. Lilith failed by refusing to try. Both were punished. Both were blamed. Both became warnings. But women keep reading these stories, keep telling them, keep finding new meanings in them, because buried in the punishment and the blame is something else. Two women who wanted more, who reached for more, who believed they deserved more. Eve wanted knowledge. Lilith wanted equality. These are not small desires. These are not evil desires. These are human desires, divine desires, the desires that make us reach beyond what we are told we can have. The modern world still wrestles with these two women, still places them against each other. Career or family, independence or partnership, strength or kindness, ambition or contentment. As if a woman cannot be both. As if Eve and Lilith cannot exist in the same body. As if the choice is still the same as it was in the garden. Submit or leave. Obey or be punished. Accept or be erased. But maybe the real story is different. Maybe the real story is that both women were brave. Both made impossible choices in an impossible situation. Eve chose knowledge even though it meant exile. Lilith chose freedom even though it meant loss. Both paid prices that should never have been asked of them. Both survived. Both echo through time. Both matter. The three angels still hunt Lilith, according to the stories. They chase her through the centuries, but they never catch her. She is too fast, too wild, too determined. She lives on in every woman who refuses to be diminished, who speaks the secret names that give her power, who flies away from gardens that feel like prisons. The angels cannot catch what will not be caught. Eve still walks the earth too, in every mother, in every woman who bears pain for the sake of life, in every person who makes a mistake and lives with the consequences, in every curious soul who bites the fruit of knowledge even when warned not to. Eve is in the struggle to be human, to know good and evil, to choose even when choices are hard. Neither woman is perfect.